Hello there, everyone. How are you tonight? Happy Wednesday. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time where we can relax and craft together for about an hour. And I work on projects from beginning to end. And I see you guys popping in now. We had a little Wi-Fi situation, so thanks for bearing with me. We're a little late tonight. Okay, so you guys, we are going to continue with the Missouri Star Quilt Triangle Tango quilt. So I am working on this quilt because I got the cutest fabric, and this pattern really is going to show it off. So it's large half square triangles like this, relatively large. They're 6.5-inch half square triangles. And look how it showcases the fabric. You can see all the cute little dudes. You know, we got some stars, some ponies. All sorts of rainbows, all sorts of little guys. So this pattern is really going to show off these fabrics, and that's why I'm super excited about it. We are still, even though we got a huge mega stack of finished half square triangles here, we still have quite a bit. That's quite a bit yet to trim. So we are in trim mode again tonight. I'm hoping we can get them done. Even with this late start, we might just stay to get these trimmed tonight because I want to get sewing again so bad, but I don't want to move on to the sewing until I have all these guys ready. So, all right, and next we'll be sewing the sashing on. So I'm hoping we can start that tomorrow and prep it tonight even yet. So we'll see. So, all right, I'm going to flip you guys around. Let's get going right away since we had a little bit of a late start here. Yes, so John saved the night. Yeah, I just posted in Facebook that, I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't know if you guys saw my first video. So I posted a video and it said it wasn't working. And then it turns out there's something wrong. It's not even the Wi-Fi, it's the outlet. So the outlet that our Wi-Fi is plugged into apparently keeps getting tripped and is now not working. So who knows what that's all about. So right now the Wi-Fi is on an extension cord across the room in the basement, plugged into a different outlet. So it seems to be working now, though. I can see all you guys again. I can see your comments. We're back in business here. So that's positive at least. But that's why if you're wondering, if you missed all that and you're wondering why we're on so late, that is why. But I'm so happy that we got it figured out because I would have been super duper sad if we could not cut more on these tonight. I want to keep moving this project along here. Hey, Jane. All right. Again, we're using our slotted, wait, what is it called again now? The Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers. There we are, to cut out our half square triangles. Now this is kind of an odd way to trim half square triangles while it's still folded in half like this. Typically you press these open. So I would press it so I have the square, and then I would trim it to the right size at that point. And that's actually probably a little bit more accurate than what we're doing here. But I thought this is just like a kind of a clever tool, and it's allowing us to just make, besides those little dog ears that I'm cutting off, we just get to make these 2 cuts instead of having to make 4 cuts for each block. And that saves time, and right now we're kind of about saving time. I think I'm going to put these down here so I have a shush pile area. But yeah, so that's where I'm thinking here. I did actually do a time test. I don't remember the actual numbers, but I know that I I cut 2 stacks of like 50 half square triangles, and one I did with a block lock ruler and one I did with this, and it was just a hair faster by a few minutes. So a few minutes added up over, you know, we got like twice as many here. I think that's a good deal. And really these blocks are so, you know, they're big, and they're actually cut on the bias, which is the diagonal of the fabric. And that's the stretchy part of the fabric. So I figure if they're a hair off, we'll be able to stretch it just a bit when we sew the sashing on, and, you know, everything will be all lined up and perfect again. So I think we're getting our bang for our buck with this, only having to cut 2 sides. And you guys, I sent out an email today, and I also posted the email in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. So if you missed that, feel free to go check it out. We are having a super duper big sale, like 40% off of our nice wooden embroidery hoops. So I have the embroidery hoops, 8-inch embroidery hoops, available in like little sets of 3. And they're wooden with nice like rounded edges and stuff. They, just till Friday, they're gonna be 40% off. Because I'm gonna be moving to bamboo hoops soon, so we're trying to not have the wooden ones anymore. The triangle ruler, this is the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers. I threw a link up, so just below here, if you scroll through my text, there should be a products used area, and I think I have it in there still, if I remember correctly. Otherwise, you can just Google the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers. I actually have to return these still. I hope I'm not past my I don't know, 30 days or whatever it is, because it actually comes with 2, because these ones are for squares that you want to be on the 1/2 inch, so 6.5 inches, 5.5, 4.5. The other triangle is for ones that you want on the 1 inch, or like the inch, so like 1 inch, 2 inch, you know, so 6 inch basically. If you want your triangle or your squares to end up being that size. And that other triangle broke when I was taking it out of the packaging, so I wanted to return it. I contacted the manufacturer and haven't heard from them, so I was going to send it back to Amazon where I got it, and have not done that yet because I'm still using this one. So I guess that's another reason to try and get these done tonight, because I need to return this. And if not, I guess I'll just have one. If I can't return it, I'll have this side intact. Oh, the little crayon embroidery. Yeah, we should do that again. Again, Gretchen. That's fun. So we did. Are you talking about the birds, the sweet tweets, or the tweet house where we colored our fabric with crayon first? That was a really neat process. So you guys if you're interested in that, that's all up on YouTube yet, on Penguin and Fish Movies. It's the tweet house project. With color tinting. We tried out color tinting. I had never done that before. That's where you tint your fabric with some crayon or color pencils, and it's just a really kind of cool effect. You can, add, it's like a coloring book a little bit, and then you frame, you still embroider your stitches, but you have like just this little nice tinting to your work, and it really was rather fun. I wasn't actually quite sure I would like it as a look, but I really did. I really did at the end. It was really fun. this feels like it's kind of going fast tonight, so let's hope that's actually the case. Seems like my stack's getting smaller, but we did start late again, so. I'm still hoping we can get them done. And if I can return these, I'm going to immediately get another pair. I do like this. I feel like I would use these quite a bit, especially for projects like this. So I'm not just returning it because I'm done using it. I will be getting a replacement right away. Maybe I'll actually see if Missouri Star Quilt Co. carries them. Because I think after shopping there, I might have a few quilt bucks or Starbucks or Missouri Starbucks. They call them something, but with every purchase, I don't know, you get a couple cents on the dollar or something. I'm not quite sure how it works. But in theory, since I bought all this fabric from there, I could redeem it on some of these slotted trimmers. I will check it out. They're kind of one of those nice big fabric stores that seem to have everything. Oh, Quilter's Cash! That's what it's called, Gretchen. There you go. I kind of like the Missouri Starbucks. I kind of like calling it that. But yeah, Quilter's Cash. I suppose that's catchier. Quilter's Cash. That is cuter. I tend to get close with little phrases like that, but not quite there. I always kind of switch the words around. But yep, some Quilter's Cash. I'll have to look into that. Never used that before. You know, I've noticed I do this kind of scraping thing with my rotary cutter, and I'm wondering if that dulls it faster or not. So I go like, I usually cut my piece and then I give it a little shush like that, and I'm just kind of doing that to move the fabric out of the way, kind of like that. And at this point, it's kind of a habit, you know, just so I can grab it away easily. And I like doing it because it does make it easier to grab the scraps. But I wonder if that scraping is dulling it. I did not remember the blades. Just so silly. The day starts and then my brain goes away. But we're gonna make it through just fine. And then we won't need to cut for a little while again, so that'll be nice. Oh, you bought yours at the Missouri Star Quilt Co. booth. Oh, cool. Yes, exactly, Jenna. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny that you brought that up because that's what I was thinking of when I said it wrong. I'm like, oh, it's Messy Sam's again. So yeah. Yeah, when I was little, we were gonna have Sloppy Joes, and I'd called them Messy Sam's, and then everyone looked at me like I was a crazy person. I'm like, what? It's like, it's Sloppy Joe's, not Messy Sam's. And I'm like, oh, yep. So that's what I do pretty often. I thought it was kind of funny though, because I caught my mom in one of those the other day, and I'm not sure if I've ever caught her in that before. So there's this show that I like called Adam Ruins Everything. I don't know if you guys have heard that, but I really like it. I think it used to be a web series. So I was telling my parents about Adam Ruins Everything. Oops, see now look, it's dull. And I think my mom had called it like Brian Rex stuff or something like that. So I thought that was funny. So maybe it's genetic and I'm just showing it a little bit more than everyone else. My Messy Sam, Sloppy Joe situation. In your house, Spanish rice is called French macaroni. Oh, that's funny. Yep, that sounds exactly like how I would mess that up. I'm sure I've done that here a bajillion times. Oops, sorry. Just reading comments. Oh, you do a Patchwork Live or Facebook Lives. Oh, that's awesome, Alan. It is just relaxing, and it's nice to just make stuff with people, you know? There's not classes all the time and all that, so it's just nice to have the evenings. You always call things by a different name. Oh, people look at you. Yep. And then it's like, what did I say? Is that what it's called? I'm really afraid to do that with names. Like specifically a lot of like men's names, for example, are kind of the same in my head, so I'm always afraid I'm going to get them wrong. Like, you know, I don't know. There's so many kind of common men's names, like, gosh, now I don't even know any. Like Brian or Peter or, you know, Matt or Mark, all of those kind of, I have to check myself to make sure that I'm saying a name right, but all those kind of blend together a little bit. Yeah, Sam and Joe, those are some for sure. Those kind of just short, common men's names. They just all, I get confused quick with those. John and Joe. Jason. All of those are all the same, right? All right, I think we're gonna get a lot farther than I thought today on this. We're getting there here. Like, look, there's only a few left here. I would say maybe a little more than 10, maybe about 10. I suppose it'll take a little time yet, but pile is getting a lot shorter, a lot quicker than I thought it was going to, which is awesome. Then we can press these. I want to press, so we have our, oops, sorry you guys. We have our sashing, our first row of sashing, and remember I had to cut some of those on the fold just because of the size of my bolt of fabric, so we have to press all these. So that would be awesome. I can't even open them. There we go. So that would be nice to get done tonight too. Then we'll have our stack ready to go. And you know what? If we can really get cruising here, maybe we can sew one. We could actually sew maybe, well, we'll see how we do on timing. Like we started late too. But maybe we can sew an entire single block. Like we could do, the one sashing and then press and then add the other sashing, because that's it for the blocks. It's just those two sashing, which is just like a border. So it's two sides of a border, and that's it. Then it's just the clever way that all those borders are put together. You could do this as quilt as you go. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of different ways, Pat, to do quilt as you go. Pat's saying QAYG, that stands for quilt as you go. And but the way that I know how to do quilt as you go, which is what we're doing for the Splendid Sampler 2 project. So you're quilting a smaller area than the whole quilt, right? That's what quilt as you go means. But then you're attaching all of those with like a little binding strip almost. So all your separate quilt as you go bits get attached, and it makes a tiny little extra sashing. So I suppose you could do it, but everything's just going to be a little farther apart. And the thing is, you probably don't want to do quilt as you go with just one of these blocks because it's only going to be this big. You'll probably want to do a few together, and then the sashing will go around those few. So unless you put sashing like a 1 inch, so it ends up being a 1/2 inch. If you do a 1/2 inch sashing in between all your blocks and then do the thing around, or then do quilt as you go and then do your sashing that holds it all together, then, that would probably work, but you will still have like a little bit bigger borders around it, but I think you'd have the same effect. Do the sashings on the blocks all go the same way? They do, I believe, Linda. The trick is how they're rotated and stuff. I think that's kind of the neat bit of this quilt. So like row 1, they're all rotated differently than row 2, and then those rows trade off. And again, if you guys are interested in this pattern, it is from that Missouri Star Quilt Co. block publication that they do, and I put a direct link here. They have a digital, I think this is an older one, so they have a digital version of it for less than $5, and you get like basically the whole book, which is I think like 12 patterns. So I don't know, not really gonna find a cheaper 12 patterns of fun, simple things than that. All right, gosh, these are kind of multiplying though, aren't they? Oh, maybe we had more than 10. It's doing that magic trick where it looks like there's nothing in the pile, but forever. There we go. Yeah, it's digital. Oh yes, it's not out of print. So you can get a physical version of it too, for sure. So if you want the physical version, which is this, I got this in the store. They do have it online too, but if you wanted it like now, like if you wanted to start it tonight and you wanted the pattern, they have the whole thing digitally as well. But yes, they do have the printed version as well. And I mean, I kind of like the printed version. It's almost like a book. It's like in between a magazine and a book, kind of. It's kind of neat. There's according to the cover, I haven't looked into it yet, but according to the cover, there's a learn to piece batting with Jenny. And that's something that I kind of have had on my mind lately because I have a whole pile of kind of biggish scraps of batting, but that are weird sizes for quilts. Even like a baby quilt, it's not quite right. And it would be nice to kind of splice those together in a way that makes sense. So I'll have to read through that little bit too. I was late too here today, Dawn. So no worries, I'm just getting going here. We were having Wi-Fi issues, which actually meant we were having an outlet that our Wi-Fi was plugged into issues. But I'm glad we discovered that, so now we kind of know what we got to take a look at, I suppose. Keep grabbing a couple by accident. We're getting there. We're actually going a bit faster though than I thought we were going to on trimming these tonight though, so that's nice. I think we're gonna get done pretty quickly here. Let's see, 1, 2, ugh, that's 3. Oh gosh, there's more! All right, now I'm curious. I know I'm wasting time counting, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my gosh, I thought I had 10 like 10 minutes ago, so now we're down to 9. We're in single digits. That's good. Out of, I mean, I gotta remind myself there's 168 of these. Our house is from 1946. So the last owner, there's only been a few owners, but the last place was a oh, what is it even called? I wanted to say like a rehab company, but that's not what they're called. Refurbished? I don't know. Whatever it is where a company buys a house and then fixes it up a little bit. So that was that's who had it last. And so I don't know, they may or may not have done new electric. Our electric box is definitely old and original. There's wacky notes and tape all over it, and ugh, it's a mess. So yeah, something's definitely wrong with it though. Yeah, like flippers, but not like, but like a formal way of saying that, like when a company does it, not like a couple people for fun. I suppose it's basically the same thing, isn't it? They're actually doing that to the house on the end of the block right now. It's kind of, they're totally redoing that so they can sell it too. Yes! You remember when you found something like Mickey Mouse on the downstairs wall? Yup, Debbie. So that was a crazy discovery. So when this was well after we moved into, but we were having basement issues, like we're getting like this white powder, and it turns out it's called efflorescence, and that's when like moisture is just kind of pushing. Oh gosh, I'm going to totally get this wrong. John knows more about it than me, but it's just dust basically from the cement. Kind of, I don't know, that's not quite right. But anyway, a lot of it seemed like it was happening because the rehabbers, right? They put the wrong paint on, so it wasn't like a waterproof paint in the basement. So we started scraping that off, and there was like a red mark on the wall. And we're like, oh, what's this red mark? Like someone had Sharpied, or, you know, it was just a weird mark from like on the cinder block when it was put in, like was marked funny or whatever. But as we kept scraping, we discovered, and we couldn't get all that white paint off. We could just scrape as much as we could, but we discovered it was Mickey Mouse. It was like a Mickey Mouse I don't know even how they got it on there. It didn't look like someone actually painted it unless they were like really, really good. It was like a decal or something, but it wasn't. It was some sort of paint. Man, they must have painted it on. I don't know how it's there, and it wouldn't come off when we scraped, so that's still there, and it turned out to be kind of Mickey Mouse. And then as we scraped more, we found Donald Duck and also Pluto, but they're all just kind of ghostly and barely there because we couldn't scrape all the white paint off. So it's this blotchy white paint with like these images coming through. It's actually kind of creepy because Donald Duck's eyes are there pretty well, but not much of the rest of him. I mean, enough to know what it is. I mean, they're iconic characters. You kind of get it. Once you see it, you see it. But yeah, just his creepy eyes. You were watching, oh weird, that's weird. You were watching a house flip show and there's a Mickey Mouse on the wall. Oh my God, that's crazy, Noeline. So it must have been a thing. And it was kind of more, it was definitely old school Mickey and Donald and Pluto. Not all the way old school, like, not Steamboat Willie, black and white. Not that old, but old enough. So it could have been like 50s, 60s Mickey Mouse and Donald. So I don't think it was quite 70s Mickey Mouse. I think it was maybe a little earlier than that. But how funny. So maybe it was a whole thing that people did. I kind of love it. Yeah, it's just so weird. We're actually cleaning up the basement because remember we had that water in the basement with that crazy storm. We had this early spring, late winter. So we moved everything around all crazy. So I think we're going to try and clean it up a little bit. So once I'm down there a little bit more, I'll have to show you guys it again. The crazy Mickey. Yeah, it was so weird because, like I said, we just saw kind of a little bit of red and kind of like a black line that I thought was just like a Sharpie marker. And then as we scraped more and more away, it was like a Mickey Mouse's tail and his red little pants, and there was yellow buttons, and oh, it was just so funny. I think so, Gina. I mean, we'll just see how long that takes. I mean, it will definitely... Gina asked if I'm planning on making it into my sewing room still. What we'd like to do is have it more of a setup of like what we're doing here, but better. So like, you know, better lighting, you know, more cameras so it's not shaking all the time so I can still get down in here. But, you know, just trying to up our video game a little bit and have lights that we don't have to move around and stuff, and then we can use our kitchen again. You guys, we're done. I'm gonna get the iron out and we'll get pressing. But yeah, so that's kind of what we'd like to do, and I know John would like to do some video stuff and maybe some podcasty type stuff, and you know, even some music stuff. So we'd like to kind of make it do all those things. And yes, it will have a sewing machine, and I have an industrial Juki sewing machine that I got on Craigslist a few years ago, and I'd love to use that a whole lot more. So I would love to make it kind of a room that we, you know, are down there a lot, and we can do this stuff down there. It probably won't be to the wow, that feels weird. Oh, I think it's still warming up. It didn't really glide. But I think, I don't think we'll do anything like, we're not gonna, you know, it's not a finished basement, so I don't think we'll actually finish it. I don't think we'll do any real construction because that'll cost $1 bajillion. But, you know, just things like, I don't know, making it a little nicer than it is now, basically. So we'll see. We'd like to do that, but again, that's kind of lowish priority on the totem pole, so that'll be just like a here and there thing until it reaches critical mass and we can't deal with it anymore, and then we'll put a bunch of energy in it probably. But that's kind of what we'd like. So that might be the new new evening spot for us. Oh my gosh, Glennis, your husband's aunt painted Mickey Mouse on his truck. Oh, wow. That's bold. Yeah, exactly. Then I leave my things out now, but can't have anyone over if I'm taking up the whole kitchen with all my stuff. But yeah, so exactly, I can leave my projects out there a little bit easier if we're in the basement there. And so I don't know. That's what we have on our minds a little bit there. But again, we got a lot to clean up down there since we basically upended it when we had that water. That freak water. Like, that was totally abnormal. Basically everyone in town had a leaky basement. We got lucky that we didn't have like feet of water or like a leaky roof and stuff on top of it, because a lot of people had that at the same time. So we totally lucked out, even though it was still a pain. I'm just putting the iron back in its cradle to heat up a little bit more, since I didn't let it heat up all the way when we started. Yeah, and that's what we don't want to do, all of that, Noeline. Like, if we really were doing it right, we would have to, first of all, we'd have to do drain tile, probably, and then we'd, have to get a sump pump or whatever in there, however that works. And, we don't even have like an egress window down there. So like we'd need an egress window to make it like a real space. And, it's just cement everything, and I don't know. I'd rather have a second bathroom before all that. So there's that. Oh, Marie, that's exactly how my Juki is. It's got a pan of oil. It is so mechanical that it's kind of exciting. So when we open up the sewing machine, like my Kenmore sewing machine that I use here every night, it's fun to open up because it's all mechanical and you get to see all the gears happen. There's nothing computerized. Well, the Juki, the industrial Juki in the basement, is even more so. So instead of how on this machine how we oil it, there's spots that we have to oil, and we gotta dab that oil on all of the different spots. The Juki in the basement does that for you. So you don't have to open it up at all, but it does it by having a huge trough. So normally when, like on some of those vintage machines where you can fold your sewing machine into a table. So there's that hole in the table, right? And you fold in the sewing machine. So imagine that hole is instead, it's a trough. And you fill that trough with oil, and then the Juki sewing machine sits on top of it, and it has a little wick, and that wick just sucks up the oil and puts it wherever it needs to be in the sewing machine. So you got to keep checking that oil. You got to keep lifting up the machine. It's on like the hinges, but it's heavy, so you look, and if it's below the line or whatever, you got to dump more oil in there. It's so wacky, but kind of neat at the same time. But yeah, I'd like to become more friendly with that machine. I did sew a little bit of my jean quilt on there, my unfinished jean quilt, but I do want to work on it more. I actually got I think it might be a little noisy. It's got a hefty motor on it, so it is noisy. It is noisy, Noeline. Oh, Marie, yep. I think we're talking about the same thing. But yeah, I did some research into it. So I just have a straight stitching. All it does is a straight stitch. And I kind of wish I got a walking foot version, but those are more expensive. So some of these industrial machines like this have a built-in foot that moves it along, and I guess those walking feet ones are better for like leather and that sort of thing. Because I thought it would be cool to do like bags and stuff like that, more bags. But that uses kind of a more of a walking foot. But now I just want to use it for making quilts and other stuff. I just want to get it running. I'm not sure what year it is, Arloa. I'll have to check on that. But yeah, I'd like to start using it a bit more. I did find online a darning foot for it, or like a free motion quilting foot basically for it. Because I thought that'd be cool. It'd be cool to do the quilting on that machine. Just cruise around making all the shapes, big shapes. And it has like a big neck and a big table. And so I'd like to give that a go. But again, this is all pending we can clean up the basement and get things where we want it to be, and that's going to be a slow motion project. But who knows, maybe it'll be so hot this summer that we have to be in the basement all the time, and that will force us to get it done. Yes, you think that's what we sewed on. Oh, and industrial and very fast. Yeah, so you can actually control the pedal. I mean, you can control the pedal like any machine, but you can actually put a limit on how fast it goes by like twisting, again, so mechanical. You twist a screw or a bolt, and that bolt won't let it press down all the way or something just silly like that. So if you're nervous about it going too fast, or if you're working on like delicate stuff where you don't want to accidentally go too fast, you can force it to only go up to a certain speed. But all in all, yeah, I think they go super fast. It's like those, you know, if you're watching videos of like factory sewing where they just zip through it, it's like one of those. Oh, Dawn, you made a knit tank top with your new serger today. That is exciting. So that is something I would love to figure out one day, is clothing stuff a little bit more. That is neat, a new serger. Those are a little bit of a mystery to me still. I actually have an old serger. Like when we were growing up, we took like how to make shorts or something. I don't know, these horrible shorts. And I think we had a cheap serger for that. And I think I've brought this in once and they said that they don't do sergers, but I asked again and they do repair sergers. It definitely doesn't work. I would just bring it in and say, make it work. But it's sitting here. It's on my, it's sitting out, which is one step closer than where it was, which is on the shelf in the basement. So now it's moved a level up. The next level is to actually bring it to the shop or put it on the table here and see if I can putz with it a little bit. I just remember being a little, well, I still am, I suppose, intimidated by it with all the 6 threads, or not 6, the 4 different threads, and they all got to be going at the right pace and the right tension, and it cutting, and man. But yeah, from what I can tell of other people using them, they seem so slick. But yeah, definitely on my, at some point, agenda. Like I said, it's one step closer. It's upstairs. Sometimes that's how it works. Oh, look at these yellow horsies. Those ones are cute. All right, we're getting there. This is the part that takes some time to, is this pressing. But we're getting to 9:30 here, but I started late, so we'll go at least another 15 minutes or so. Like I said, I'm hoping to get these all pressed, and I would like to actually press the those sashing pieces that are folded in half yet too. That would be good. Yeah, and this serger is kind of old, but like 80s type old, where it might not have been made, like where they start making them kind of cheaper, like not a good old one. This guy got a little weird. I think I just need to heat him up again. Set him in the set them in the cradle again. Let's do a quick count on how many we have here while that heats up again. 1. Nolene, I think so. But again, I'm not overly familiar with a serger, but yes, I think that's basically, in general, they're the same thing. You can do an overlock stitch. You know, a lot of industrial machines are super specific, so I think there's like an overlocker type thing for just like rugs, and you know, it can get real picky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23. Ugh, there's a lot yet. 24, 25, 25. We can do that. Ooh, a baby lock self-threader. See, they're fancy nowadays, all those sewing machines. Exactly. Once we get this done, it is full sew ahead for sure. Oh gosh, wow, it works so much easier now. I let it just heat up again for a little bit. I guess we were going kind of quite a bit without heating it up. So it's cordless. It stays hot for quite a while, but you do got to put it back in the cradle to warm it up again. I have never used a baby lock machine before. I'm not totally familiar with the ins and outs of all the different brands. I know people love their particular brands of sewing machines and stuff, and you know, they all have their brand ambassadors that tell you all the good things that they like about all of them. But it'd be interesting to have all of the same level of the brands in front of you and work on them for like a long period of time. Like a project like this, do like the same project or a similar project a few times and test drive them like that. And I suppose you could technically, okay, so here's an idea. You know how stores, a lot of fabric stores actually are dealers of machines. So you could find relatively locally, maybe. I mean, you know, it depends where you are. Like, I don't know where I would find all these places by me, but you could do some research and find out, okay, who is the Bernina dealer? Who is the Juki dealer? Who is the Baby Lock dealer? Who's the Brother dealer? What else is there? Husqvarna. Trying to list all the brands of sewing machines I can think of. Anyway, it'd be interesting to maybe take a class at each of those shops, because most of those shops are not going to have more than one brand because they kind of stick to their brand, or they're told to, or I don't know how that works. But yeah, you could take a class at each one of those shops and try out each of those machines on kind of like a larger project like this, or like a 2-day class. Oh gosh, it'd get expensive, but anyway, be fun. And then you could try out the different machines on similar projects or whatever, and then that'd be a good way to research. There, and then you can combine it with making new friends in class and discovering new sewing places in your nearish vicinity. All sorts of extra bonuses. Yes, exactly. Test drive, like a car dealer. Test drive the sewing machines. There needs to be like one place that has all the brands that you can play with. But I don't think that's kind of how the industry works. I think usually it's kind of like a fabric shop, and then they kind of pair up with a dealer, and they probably have an exclusive contract or something with that dealer. I'm totally guessing here, but then that dealer, you know, then they get like, I don't know, a commission on the sale of a machine or something. Don't know. Don't quite know how that works. Ugh, cute. It catches me off guard with its cuteness every once in a while, these fabrics. Yeah, exactly. The sew shops, I mean, they want you to test it out. I mean, like when you're in a class, sometimes they want you to use, or a lot of times they want you to use the machines. I mean, they're making money on hoping that you love the machine so much and that you buy from them. And, you know, if you loved the class and you love the person teaching and you love the shop, you're going to want to support them by buying it from them. You know what I mean? So it's a good pairing. But yeah, so they should tell you all the features and help you with it. And then if every store does that with all the different brands, then, you know, I'd like to think you'd have a kind of a clear picture of what you like. Oh, Faf. Yeah, I forgot that one. Sheesh. That's a big one. I'm sure I missed some other ones too, but that was a silly one to miss. That's one I hear about a lot. My mom has a Bernina, but that's at least, that's got to be probably 15 years old at this point as well. But man, that one has a whole pile of, oh, Janome. Oh my gosh, you guys are right. I'm totally missing all of them. Janome. Geez, what was I even reading? Oh, a Viking Faf dealer. So Viking, I think Viking is Husqvarna, isn't it? Oh gosh, I don't even know. Or is Viking and Faf the same company now? I guess I don't know. But yeah, Janome. People like their Janomes. Geez, if I missed... Oh yeah, Singer. I don't know if... Oh gosh, I haven't heard... what's Singer up to? Is that still even like a thing? I guess it's just a kind of a silly question, but I guess I don't know. You know, in quilt land... you know, just I follow a lot of quilt stuff, obviously, and yeah, the big ones that I'm hearing about lately are like Janome, Bernina, Faf. Oh, I just forgot one of them. Oh, Brother. Yeah, is Singer? Gosh, I don't even know if they're a thing yet. Okay, so yes, Singer is still kicking. Okay, so I have no idea what Singer is up to as far as new models of machines. So don't know. Oh, you have a 503 Rocketeer Singer. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, Joann's has Singers. So I wonder if they just do kind of lower end machines, which, you know, totally work perfectly fine for the most part. I don't necessarily need all those bells and whistles, but once you have all the bells and whistles, they're pretty awesome. I mean, it's kind of like when we're buying all these tools and stuff. You know, a normal iron is just fine, but dang, it's nice to have a cordless one. You know, a normal ironing table is just fine, but it's nice to have this little wool mat. You know, I'm thinking that's how all those new machines are. Oh yeah, Baby Lock. Oh, that's kind of where we started, right? Baby Lock, the Baby Lock Serger. That's what you got, Don? Oh, Bonnie, I can't see the rest of that joke. I'm gonna have to look at it when I'm done here. Well, and then you have all the ones that are the long arm sewing machines, the long arm quilting machines. You got all them. Let's see, what are some of those? I'm not as familiar with those, but I'm sure if you say any of the names, they'll pop out at me. Yeah, you know, it's nice to have some stitches, but you rarely use them. Yeah, you know, I'm using a straight stitch mostly, but it would be fun to have that, at least that little blanket stitch that mimics a hand-done blanket stitch. I could see using that stitch a lot. I don't have that on my old machine. And I like my vintage machines here yet too. They're just something super mechanical about them that I just kind of love. Yes, I don't really have any, I don't have any modern machine really. I do have a super duper cheap machine embroidery machine that, you know, works just enough to get by with something. Doesn't work anything like how some of these nice ones work. So I guess that's my one modern machine. Other than that, the 70s are the latest, except for that Juki. Industrial Juki. I have no idea when that's from. I got that on Craigslist from a woman who did the fashion design courses at the tech college here, and had gotten it, I think, from the school, or bought it from the school or something, and then didn't want it in her apartment anymore. Wasn't using it as much, so now it lives in our basement, and it's so heavy. I don't know if it'll come out of the basement ever. It will, if it needs to, but unless we're moving, it's staying in the basement. Oh, Quilter's Choice, which is the baby lock jazz. Oh, a huge throat. That's cool. Yeah, all my machines are lacking that really. That's why I want to try get that industrial Juki going. I think that large neck would be fun to use. And check it, you guys, last one. 168 of these puppies. All right, and I do want to quick do the ironing of the sashing so we can just sew immediately tomorrow. But here we go. So this is what 168 blocks looks like. So this is going to be a king size quilt. So it's going to have this kind of feel to it, these colors. I'm pretty excited. So all right, one last thing. Like I said, we have our stack of sashing. We actually have two stacks. You know, we have the short sashing and the longer one. The 8.5 inch ones are ready, but let's since we got the iron going here, let's get these ready so we don't have to deal with that tomorrow. I want to get them perfect right now. I'm going to press them one at a time because I just want to grab these sashings and go. So tomorrow I'll go through the process of the whole entire thing. So I'll sew this short sashing on, then we'll press the block, and then I'll sew the second sashing on, and then that's it. That's it for the block. So I'll show you guys that, and then we'll machine stitch after that. We'll just do machine stitch. What I mean is that factory model where we just do every single one of the 168 blocks, just sew the strips on all of them. Oh, lay about 3 or 4 and then do one after each other. Yeah, we'll do, maybe we'll just do a couple. I'm kind of curious how fast it'll go to sew through the 168. So here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that I'll do one just to show you guys right at the beginning tomorrow with both sashings on. So we'll go through one, and then I'm hoping we can super speed sew through all of these. And then I'm hoping that, line them up. Yeah, I thought about that, but I'm kind of stretching them out as I go a little bit. I think if I line them up, I'll end up with a crease. So that's why I'm doing them one by one. I mean, it kind of makes sense ideally you'd line them all up, but I just know like right here, that's about how I can get it. If I had more than one, I'm going to put a little crease in there if I do it that way. I need to kind of pull on it over here. I can only really do that one at a time. So yeah, so it'll take a little longer. When they even want to open up. There we go. And I mean, I could flip them the other way, but I don't know, for some reason I feel like they press a little bit better when the fold is up. That could just be, I don't know if that's for real. Every once in a while, Noeline, I'll look on Facebook Marketplace and see if any featherweights pop up. I don't know what I would do if they would though. It's not like I need one, but they just seem like so cute. I would love to. I've never seen one in person, and if someone said like free on it or whatever, or like $10, and they were near, I'd say okay, I'll take it. Like someone who didn't know what they had. Let's see, how many more of these do we have? Yeah, I'll do it trying where I fold it the other direction. Where the fold is pointed down now. Because I'm pretty sure with it pointed up, we're gonna run into some weird pressing. Ah, come on, I can't get this one. There we go. So yeah, we can kind of, yeah, that works fine. We'll do it like this. I'm gonna flip them back though, so they're all the same direction. All right, while I lay them out though, I'm gonna heat up the iron again. Then I have two hands too, which is nice. Oh, yours was given to you in your house cleaning and you cried. Oh, Dawn, that's amazing. Oh, you have two treadle machines. Oh, see, that would be something that I would love. I don't know, once we have more space, or, you know, when I have my my giant warehouse of just rescuing sewing machines and using them all, then I would love a treadle machine to play around with. Oh, that just sounds so neat. And then you can use it when there's a power outage or whenever you want. I just love that. Oh, I need one. It'll be my favorite. Oh, you still tear up thinking about it. Oh, the featherweight. Yeah, well, like I said, I occasionally, you know, whenever I go to an estate sale or a yard sale, I'm thinking about it. I think about like, ooh, I wonder if any of these places has a sewing machine, and, you know, hoping to find, you know, a $10 featherweight. That would be pretty awesome. Even if it was, you know, totally dirty and maybe didn't work, I bet you know, with some oil and all that, it would maybe pick up again, you know? Or it would cost less to fix it than, or get a part than finding one, you know, for $10. Oh, you have your granny's treadle machine. How fun. Yep, those would be cute. Even when a 99 pops up, if one of those ended up being super cheap, so a 99, although now that I'm saying that, I think I'm saying that wrong. Is it a 90 or a 99? That's the size in between a featherweight and then the one that I already have. My John's great-grandma's sewing machine. That's the Singer that I have. So that's the full-size one, and then I think it's the 99 is kind of in the middle, and then the featherweights are the itty-bitty kind. Oh, when the power goes off, you automatically just go to your treadle machine for fun. Ah, Gracie, that just, like, makes my heart feel good. Yeah, treadle, that would be cool. Space is the issue right now. So like I said, if we're ever in another place with some space, a treadle, I would love to have a treadle just like sitting in the living room, just set up, ready to go, and anyone could just, you know, with like a little patchwork on there at all times, you know, you can just sit down and anyone can go and sew a few squares together. Oh, I would just love that. Just sitting there, sitting ready, awake, ready to go. A she shed, yes, exactly, Bonnie. That's what I need. Oh, the 99 is a good one. You have one of those too, Gracie? Awesome. It'd be fun to have like the trio of them next to each other. Ah, 3 treadles, 99, oh, 299s, no 301. Oh, you can't look anymore. Yeah, space is, you know, I got that Kenmore one with that black, like, crinkle look to it that looks like a steampunk. I don't know, it just is awesome. So I still have that one, and I'd like to open that up, but even that one I don't really have enough space to keep it open. It's tucked into the cabinet, and we're using the cabinet as like a little table. Like, even that we don't have enough space for. All right, now we have everything. I think we actually might have 1 or 2 extra in here, but we'll find out that real quick once we start sewing it to these guys. So I think how these are gonna work are, so one of them is gonna go, I think the sashings go on the side with the pattern. So we'll sew all these on first. So this is what I want to do tomorrow. Just zoop, 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 zoop. Sew all of these guys on. And then this guy goes this way. So, you know, if we got rid of the seam allowance, it would look more kind of like this once we're done. And then the trick comes in how you rotate them. So, and it's like a whole row. It's a lot of them together, rotated all different. So it's more than I can set up with just 4. I think I'd have to set up like, I don't know, 12 or so to get it just rotated right. That's kind of the trick of this quilt a little bit. But this is the plan. So tomorrow I'll make a whole one like what I just showed you here from beginning to end, just so we can see it. But then I want to factory mode and just with our whole stack here. See, I have everything turned the right way already, so I'll just zoop, 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 zoop. Actually, I don't know if this goes on the top or the side. I'll have to check that. But yeah, we'll just crank the whole pile out, and I'm hoping we can do all that in the one session. And I'd like to actually start some of the other sides too. That'd be cool. So awesome, you guys! Don't you rotate before putting the sashing on? No, so this is not actually, I've been calling it sashing, Linda. I should really call it 2 borders, really. So we're still making the full block. So this block isn't complete until both of these pieces are on. So this is the finished block right here. This is not the finished block. So I should just call it like 2 side borders, really. There's technically no sashing in this quilt. It is just, it's just this block. This is the final block here. And then the final blocks are rotated and stuff. So I've been calling these 2 pieces sashing, but that's not actually what we're doing. I shouldn't call them sashing. They're really the 2 borders of the block. They're not even borders. They're 2 strips that complete the block. There we go. That's what it is. 2 strips that complete the block. But yeah, so our blocks are partially done here, and then we'll get the other 2 strips on. Let's call them what they are. They're strips. They're not the sashing pieces. All right. So that is the plan for tomorrow, you guys. All right, so I'm going to flip you around, and we'll call it an evening. And thanks for sticking with me a little late here again tonight. Alrighty, hello. So let me show you this stack here, just so you can get a sense of the size of it again. It's just a happy stack of half square triangles. Look at it, boosh. It's nice. So I'm excited. Now we're done with those big steps. Oh gosh, you know what I just thought of though? We're gonna have to press each one too. But it'll be fun. Just trimming those triangles. I'm happy we're done there. So we'll be here tomorrow working on this. I am not sure if I'll be here on Friday. I will let you know tomorrow. My parents are coming into town, so we might be, we'll probably just be hanging out with them on Friday. So if that's the case, I'll be back Monday then, but I will be here tomorrow. So, all right, you guys, thanks again. I'll get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies. If you haven't checked your email, make sure to check that for the big sale that I'm doing right now. And if you're in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group, I do have a link in there as well for to read the email, so you can check it out there as well. So thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.